Okay. Okay, so the website we are going to build today is going to be, although we are in constant boycott, but still we have this website and it uses a lot of Flex. Okay, so that's the only reason we are going to create this website. So this is the website that we are going to create. Okay, so let us start, and we should always start from top to bottom. So the first thing you would see here is going to be this top nav bar. Okay, so before starting we first have to create the basic structure of it. So what do you think, how many divs do we have and all of that stuff? Okay, how many divs do we have? Let me open the pane as well so we can create the structure. Okay, so how many divs? This top section, this one.
Is it three? Three?
No, first of all we have to when no, if you see something side by side, we have two things we need to remember. If we have something side by side, उसके दो मतलब होते हैं. We have two meanings. And what was that? If you see something side by side, that would mean that it has a parent and that parent has a display of flex on it. So basically these things have a parent. Okay, so a single div. First of all we have a single div. Okay, now inside that single div, how many divs more do we have? How many more divs do we have inside this parent? Come on, it's easy.
Six?
No. Two, yes. So we have this left one and we have this right one. Okay, so inside the left one, how many do we have?
Four.
Yeah, good. Four. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, what about the right one?
Two.
2. Yes, good. 1 and 2. Okay, so I want you to look a little deeper on the left side. Do we have any more divs on the left hand side div? Look.
So the pictures?
Yeah, exactly.
Tiny pictures.
Yeah, good. So both of these are side by side. That would mean two things again. It has a parent. It already has a parent here. And since they are side by side, so they both are different divs. Let me thin it up. Okay. And what about this one?
Same thing.
Yeah,
Two.
good. Same thing. We have left and we have the right. What about the right one? Do we have any more divs in the right section? Think like a programmer. Do we have any more divs here?
The more possible? Like the zero?
Yeah, exactly. Good. So we have this bucket and we have this 0 as a div as well. So this is the basically this is the main layout you see on this nav bar here. Okay, so since we have the layout ready, so let's start with the coding. So for the coding we are going to use again VS Code. So the thing that you need to do is, okay, we're gonna learn something new. Maybe not yet. Okay, not yet, it's gonna be too much. So let me open VS Code and then let me create a new folder. So file, open folder, and then on desktop we are going to create this new folder and let's name it flex site. Okay, so this time we are going to create two files here. Okay, so first file, the main file should be named what should be the main the name of the main file should be
What? Index?
index. Yeah, index, and then index What do we have next after index? Is it, yeah, dot HTML. Good. So this is going to be our file that is going to hold only the HTML. Okay, we are not going to do CSS anymore in HTML. Okay, for CSS we are going to have a totally new file. Okay, so I am going to click on this icon again, and I'm going to say styles. You can name it whatever you want again, but this is the common convention to name the main style file, styles dot CSS. Okay, so now we have two files. One file would hold the structure of our website, that is HTML, and the second one is going to hold our styling. Now it's not that different to what we were doing before. Before we were doing HTML and CSS in the same file, and now what we're doing is we are giving HTML a separate file and giving CSS a separate file. Okay, so that's the only difference. Okay, so how do I generate the boilerplate? Make sure you're in the index.html. Okay, so how do I generate the boilerplate?
Use the exclamation.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the exclamation mark. Okay, great. And then change the document to, let's say flex site. Save it. And how do we see this website? How do we see the output?
Go live.
Yeah, good. Click on go live. Okay, so we have this flex site. Okay, so there's one more thing we need to do is, can you see this little icon here? This one? Yeah, okay, so what is this icon? This is called a fav icon, or some people refer it to as favicon. Okay, it's called fav icon or favicon, or whatever you want to name it. So what we want to do is we want to get the KFC logo. Okay, let me choose a picture. Let's say this one. Yeah, and then right click, copy image address. So what I want to do now is I want to replace this globe icon to whatever icon I want. So how can you do that? So inside the head you are going to write link. Okay, link, and then search for this one, link, and then favicon or fav icon. Click on it, and inside this href remove this and paste your URL. Okay, save it, and then you can see we have this icon which isn't looking really good because it's too big. Okay, the image is too big, so let me replace it with somewhat smaller image. So maybe let's say this one. Again, it's too big. So how can we get only the smaller images? What you can do is, after clicking on the images, go to the tools and then size, and then you can get any size you want. Let's say I want the icon, so I'm going to click on this. It's only going to give me smaller images. So yeah, this ones look good.
Can you show that one more time?
Yeah, sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to say KFC and then logo, whatever you want to do is, okay, whatever you want to search for, and then go towards this image. Okay, because I want to search for the images. Wait, let me do it again, all of it again. Okay, so I have this KFC logo. Okay, after that I'm going to go to the images. Now this is going to get me all of the images. Okay, all of the images, but what I want is I want the smaller images, like the size should be small. So what I can do is I can go to this tools. Okay, and then I can go towards the size, and then I want the icon. So now it's only going to show me the smaller images. Okay, similarly you can choose the colors as well. So for example, if I were to click on this color, I can, if I were to click on this yellow, it's only going to show me the something that's yellow. Okay, similarly if I were to click on the transparent, it's going to get me the images that don't have the background. Okay, okay, so whatever images you want, click on that. I want this image, so let's say right click, copy image address, and then again, how can I what's the coding for this one? How do I get this icon here? What's the code for that? You have to write link and then search for
Link.
favicon. Okay, paste it.
Copy the post of favicon.
Yeah, good. Save it, and then you have this favicon here. Okay, good. So let's start with the coding now. So we have created this layout. So what do you see? The first thing you see is what?
The
How?
nav
Yeah, good, the nav bar, so the main parent. So we have to create a div, the main div, yes. So now we are going to study something called semantic HTML. Okay, it's also one of the interviews question. Okay, what is semantic HTML? So basically semantic HTML refers to using tags that as a machine computers understands and as a human also understands. So any tag that is understandable to computer and to human at the same time is basically called a semantic tag. For example, the tag we are going to use first is this nav. Now this is built-in tag. Now as a human I know this nav refers to the nav bar, and this computer also knows that this nav refers to the top section. So basically why do we use semantic HTML? Because it helps the search engines locate our website easily. Okay, so basically it improves our SEO. So this nav is similarly like a div. Like even if I were to write a div here, both of them are same things. Okay, so but what's the difference between nav and div is nav is semantic and div is not. Now what is semantic? It basically those tags that helps your website to have a better SEO. And what is SEO? What was SEO? We've discussed about
it
SEO.
it was search engine optimization.
Yeah, exactly. And what does search engine optimization do?
It makes
Yeah,
it makes
our website go on. Yeah, exactly. Basically it improves the ranking of our website. Okay, so basically even if let's say if I have searched for, let's say, e-commerce, and we have like thousands of e-commerce sites, so our website is going to be displayed on top. So how can you achieve that? By using semantic tags. Okay, so it's not mandatory that you use nav is similar to div, but again this is semantic and this is not. You can use div, but this nav is more semantic as compared to div.
so what do we use? What's more preferred?
The nav. Okay, for the top section you use nav. For the main section we have another semantic tag called main, and for the header section we have another semantic tag called header. For the footer section we have another semantic tag called footer. So basically what I'm saying is, for the main part you have to use semantic tags, and inside those main tags you can use the div tags. Okay, but at the moment I don't want to confuse you, so we're gonna use the divs. Okay, we're gonna use the divs. So I'm going to create this navbar. Okay, save it. So the moment I've created this div, we have now created basically this one. Okay, this is done. Let me put a tick here. This is done. So how many divs do we have inside this nav?
Two.
Yeah, good. So inside this navbar we're gonna have two divs. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm gonna say left. So how do I create this left div? What should I write in order to create the left div? The shortcut. What's the shortcut? Like what should I write in order to create a div that is a class of left? That's a dot.
Div.
Yeah, good. Dot left. And similarly inside the same navbar I want to have the class of div of a div with class of right. So how do I do that? Yeah, dot right. Okay, great. So now that we have created the left and right, we have now created this and this. Both of these are done. Okay, so let's move towards the left part first. So how many divs do we have inside this left?
Four.
Yeah, good, four. So first one is for our menu icon. So I'm gonna say I create the name of, let's say, menu icon. Inside the same left I'm gonna have this. I guess this was logo. Yeah, this was logo. So inside the same left over the menu icon I'm gonna create a div of logo, and then inside the same left this was, I guess, yeah, delivery and then pickup. Okay, so delivery, and then I'm gonna have a div of pickup. Okay, so the left part is now completed. All of these are completed. Let's move towards the right part. So right part has two divs. Yes, one is for the bucket and the other one is for the button. Okay, so I'm gonna go inside the right and I'm gonna say, let's say bucket, and then we have this, let's name it login dash btn. Okay, so this is our basic structure. Any problem about this structure, all of these divs?
No.
Okay, great. So let's now start with actually writing something inside all of these. So the first one, the menu icon, has what? It has an icon. So where do we get our icons from? Where do we get
The
our?
one you just showed us
Yeah, and what was that?
from Google.
Yeah, Google has like a billions of
Bootstrap.
Bootstrap. Yeah, good. So we have Bootstrap icons. Make sure it's not the images you're searching. Go to all and then Bootstrap icons. So
Oh,
what's the first thing we should do? It's not gonna come right along on our website. We have to do something first. What was that? We have to copy and paste something. And what was that something?
the link.
Yeah, and what was that link called? It's called CDN. And what does CDN stands for? It's really important. The CDN is really important.
It stands for the content delivery
Yeah, and then N stands for?
network.
Yeah, good. Content delivery network. Very good. So first copy this link, and where should we paste it? Where should we paste the link?
In the menu icon.
No, the CDN should be pasted where? It
In
should
the in the head.
in the head. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the head. So before the title, okay. Save it. Now we have access to all of these icons. So what we want right now is, let's say, list. So let me press Control F. It's gonna open up this bar here, and you can search for list, and it'll tell you where list is coming, or there's another way, a better way to use this Bootstrap search bar. So I'm gonna say, let's say I want list. So we have all of these lists. So let me get this one, copy it, and then paste wherever I want it. Okay, so there's one thing you need to know about these icons. Icons are not images. Okay, what you see here, they are not images. They are called SVGs. Okay, scalar vector graphics. Or if I were to put it simply, these icons are simply text. Okay, so they're gonna have all of the properties of text. These are not images. Okay, that's the thing you need to remember about the icons. Icons are
Wait,
text.
there. Sorry. What are they called? You said
SVGs. You can see it just,
SVG.
yeah, SVG, scalar,
And what does it stand for?
yeah, scalar vector graphics. Okay,
Okay.
so basically they are like text. Okay, text is molded in such a way that they become what you see here. Okay, so they are text. So whatever we have the properties of text, all of those properties are going to be applied on these icons. Okay, if I want to make these icons bigger, what's the property? If I want to make this icon bigger, I'm going to say
Font
it again.
weight, font
Yeah, good.
size.
Font size. Yes, good. So basically, because these are text, so every property that text takes, they also are going to be implemented on these as well. Okay, so for the logo, we're gonna get the image. Let me take another tab. Let's say KFC logo images, and then let's say this one. Although this one's too big, but we can sort it out. Copy image address. And how do we put the logo here? We have to put what tag?
IMG.
Good, img inside the source. Paste it. And what was this alt? What does this alt refers to? And what does this alt basically? Yes, alternative. And what does this alternative do? Yeah, exactly. उसका फायदा क्या है? What's the point of this alternative? Yeah, exactly. Basically, this helps you in SEO. Okay, so we have this image, but we have a problem with this image. And what is that?
Too big.
Too big. So what should we do?
The width.
Yeah, good. Image has the attribute of width, so let's say maybe 200 px would be good, I guess. Nah, it's too big, so let's say 100 px. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so let's move toward the next part. So we have this delivery. So inside this delivery we had how many divs? 2 divs.
Two.
Okay, so I'm gonna name the first one to be d image, for the delivery image, and for the second one I'm gonna say d text. That is going to have the text. Okay, inside the d image I'm gonna have the image tag, and I'm going to copy this image. Right click, copy image address. I'm gonna paste it here, and for the alt I'm gonna say, let's say, delivery image. Okay, inside the d text I'm gonna have a heading. So what is this heading? H1, H2, H3, which one?
Delivery.
Which one is this heading? No, the tag. H5, yes. So let's say H5. I'm gonna say delivery. And yeah, we have this, but there's a problem again. This image is too big. So inside the image I'm gonna put width, let's say maybe 40 pixels. Yeah, that's good. Maybe it's too big. Let's say 35 pixels. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so for the pickup we have the same story. So we're gonna go in the pickup. So how many divs are we going to create in the pickup? How many divs should
Two.
we are? Two. And what should they be named? Similar to the delivery. So what was the name of it? Should be p image and then p text. Okay, so inside the p image we're gonna have again an image. This is the link, and it's gonna say, let's say, pick up image, and inside the p text we're gonna have again h5. That's going to say pick up, but there would be a problem with this one, the size. So I'm going to say width to be, what was the size of the previous image? I guess it was
100.
35.
35. Yeah, so I'm gonna say 35 px. Okay, so the left side is ready. Okay, so now let's move towards the this image. So you cannot get this image directly. If I were to right click, you wouldn't see copy image address, because this is basically embedded using the background image property. Do you remember the background image property? Did we study about the background image property?
I think,
नहीं सर बैकग्राउंड इमेज नहीं पढ़ा है.
yeah,
Oh, it was important. So okay, anyways, so how do we get this image? Okay, we're gonna study it later in the upcoming lectures. So how can we get this image? You're gonna say right click and then inspect. Okay, so what this inspect is going to do, have we studied about this, or we haven't?
we haven't.
Okay, so we're gonna study it now. So what we are going to do is, I'm gonna right click on this one, and then I'll click inspect. So this inspect is like, you can say, your best friend as long as you are developing on the front end. Okay, so what this is going to do is, it's gonna get you all of the code, that this part is going to get you all of the HTML code. Okay, this one, and this part here is going to get you all of the CSS code. Okay, like everything this website is using, but again you cannot copy it. Okay, you cannot copy it directly. So this icon right here is basically like a pointer. You can point it to whatever you want, and it's gonna highlight that exact element. Look, it's highlighting that this element is a button. Okay, but I want this one, so I'm gonna click on this icon, and I'm gonna take my mouse to here, click it, and it's gonna highlight that this is basically a button again. But this button, if you were to go in the CSS part, is going to say that this fly card btn class is using this image. So this is the exact image we want. Yes, so click on it, you're gonna have this image. I'm gonna do it again. I know it's kind of like a new thing, so I'm gonna do it again. So what should be the first part if I want to get the image?
Right click,
Yeah, good. And then
inspect.
yeah, inspect. And what is inspect going to do for you?
It shows you the all of the CSS and the,
Yeah, good. It's gonna show you all of the HTML. and the
HTML
CSS the website
CSS.
is using. Very good. So we want this one, so I'm gonna take this cursor icon, click here.
Yeah.
It's gonna highlight this one. So we want the image, so basically you can find it right here. Like you can find every kind of styling this box currently has. Okay,
So
everything you.
this styling on the bottom is just for that box.
Yeah, exactly, this box, all of these I guess.
If 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 you were to click, for an example, the login, it would show the same thing, but
Exactly.
everything for the login.
Yes, yes. Let me do it again.
Okay.
Let me do it for you. Okay. If I were to click it here, look,
Yeah.
it's highlighting this button, and now this basically gives me all of the styling this button currently has. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I want this one. So I'm gonna say click on this, and I want this image. So here this image, here is this image. I'm gonna click it. It's gonna take me to that image. So right click, copy image URL. Okay, this one's a little different. So I'm gonna say copy image URL, and then I'm gonna go back. So inside the bucket I'm going to have an image. I'm gonna put it here, and inside the alternative I'm gonna say it's a bucket image. Okay, so inside this bucket we have another div of this number. Okay, so inside the bucket we're gonna have another div. Let's name it number, and this number is going to have h5, and I'm gonna say, let's say it's going to say 0 at the moment. So you go back to your site, so we have this image, but again it is too big. So let's say this image I'm gonna put a width of 70 pixels I guess would be good. Yeah, it's good. So now we're left with the last part, and that is your button. So inside the login button we're gonna create a button that is going to say log in. So that's it. Our styling part, sorry, our structuring part is ready. Okay, I know it was a lot of work, but that is the only thing. The navbar and footers are the only thing that has a lot of work. So if you were to create a navbar yourself, you can create an entire website. So this is the most difficult part of any website, the navbar and the footer. If you can create these two, you can create any kind of website. So okay, so now the structure is ready. What's the next step? What is the next step? Like we've created the structure.
डिस्प्ले फ्लैक्स
Display flex. Okay, किसके ऊपर? What should have a display flex of?
नैव बार
Nav bar. Why is that? Because we want these two, the left section and the right section, to be displayed side by side. So we have to put a display of flex on the parent. And who's the parent? Nav bar. Okay.
The nav bar.
So we are not going to do styling here anymore. Where are we going to do the styling? We have created a file for it.
स्टाइल डॉट सी एस एस
Styles.css. Okay, so the first thing you need to make sure is that both of these files are linked. So the problem is this is a different file and this is a different file. Like HTML doesn't know what CSS is and CSS doesn't know what HTML is. So the first thing and the most important thing you need to do is you need to link these two files. Okay, so that is the main step. For example, if I were to put, let's say I'm going to target my body, I'm going to say the background is going to be red, nothing is going to happen here. Why is that? Because these two files are totally different. You have to link them in order to make everything work out. So how can you do that? Go inside this HTML, inside the head. Okay, you're gonna put link here. Okay, the simple link, click on it. Now this href is asking you where is that style.css file that you want me to be linked to. Okay, so what is the name of that file? This the style file. Yeah,
Styles.css.
good. So what we are going to do is we're going to write styles.css. So now HTML knows that whatever is in the styles.css I have to apply it. So now it's working. Okay, so this part is really important. What this part is going to do is it's basically telling HTML that all of my styling is going to be inside this file. Okay, so let's start with the styling. So we want these two, that is the left one and the right one, to be placed side by side. So what do we have to do? We have to put a display of flex on nav bar. So how do we target the nav bar?
Dot nav.
Yeah, good. Dot, it's not nav, I guess it was nav bar. Yeah, it was nav bar.
Nav
I'm
bar.
gonna say nav bar. So what's the property we want to put? I want them side by side.
Display flex.
Yeah, good. Display flex. So it's gonna put them side by side. But now what I want is, are they, uh, do they have a lot of space, like, or do they have a space around?
Space around it.
Yeah, good. And what was the property to move them on the x-axis?
Justify.
Yeah, good.
Justify.
Justify content. And what is the value? Space between, space
Space
around,
around.
center,
Face
space
around.
around. Good. Space around. Okay, great. These two are side by side, so why aren't these side by side as well?
They don't have the same parent.
Yeah, good. They don't have a same parent. So who's the parent of this one? All of these. Who's the parent of these? Look, you have a code in front of you. Who's the parent of the, this section? Left. Okay,
No.
left is the parent of this section, this one. Okay, so we have to put, we're gonna say left, and then I want them side by side. So what should I do?
Display flex.
Yeah, display flex. So now they're side by side, although they're not aligned, but we're gonna sort it out a little later. So now I want these two to be side by side as well. What should I do?
You're gonna target the right side.
Yeah, good. So we're gonna target the right side, and I'm gonna say display of flex.
Right.
So now they're side by side, but there's some problem, and that problem is, do left and right have the same Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes.
now
Sorry about that. It's acting up again. I don't know why. It was good all day, but now it's okay. Anyways, so the problem is, do left and do right have the same properties or not? They have the same properties, right? So why do
yeah.
we have to, write them separately? So we have a new concept here that is called combinators. Okay, so this combinator is going to do what? It's going to combine multiple classes together. So what I mean is, for example, I want the left and I want the right to have a display of flex. Okay, so I'm not going to write them separately. What I'm going to do is, so I'm going to say dot left, and then I'll put a comma here. Okay, comma would mean that there's another thing that's coming up. So I'm going to say right, dot right. Okay, so what this is doing is, it's selecting left and it's selecting right. Both of these are selected at the same time. Okay, is it clear the combinators concept? Like, you can select multiple
Yeah.
things
I
at the
just
same
need you
time.
to explain it one more
Yeah, yeah,
time.
sure. Okay, so what we were doing is, we had we had the display of flex on the left, and we had the display of flex on the right. Like, both of them have the same properties. Yes. So why
Mm-hmm.
do we, have to, get this separate space and this one a separate space? We can, when we can, write the same properties for both of them at the same time. So how can we do that? For example, I want to select left and I want to select right at the same time. How can we do that? We can write dot left. This is going to select what? This is going to select the left part. Okay, the left class. Comma. Now this comma would indicate that there is something else that is coming up. Okay, so I'm going to write dot right. So what this is going to do is, it's going to select the left and it's going to select the right as well, both of them at the same time. So this comma here is basically doing what? It's separating the left and the right. It's telling CSS that these two are different classes. Okay, and then curly braces and whatever you want to write. What I want is
So it
display.
kind of like makes them a group.
Yeah, exactly, good. It makes them a group,
Okay.
but again, they're different. Okay, it does make them a
Yeah,
group, but
yeah.
both of them are
They're
different.
just being targeted together.
Yeah, exactly. They're targeted together.
Okay.
Very good.
I
Okay.
have a question.
Yeah.
Wait, can you go back to left and
Yeah.
right? So let's say, like, you know how you're targeting both at the
Okay.
same time.
Okay.
So let's say you want to move something on the left. that you don't like. So what would
Good.
you do?
Good. That's a very good question. We have to target the left separately then. Okay, this is only for the part that you want to have if you want to have a same styling for left and right, only then you are going to do this. But if you want us to have a separate styling for the left and the right, then you have to write them as we were doing it before. Okay, separately.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, great. Now it's good. But these two aren't side by side. I want these two to be side by side. Why aren't these two side by side? First question is, why aren't this image and the delivery side by side? It has the same answer for what this answer was.
Different parents.
Yeah, good. Different parent. So who's the parent of this one? This one.
Left.
No, left was the parent of for all of it. For I'm
Okay.
talking about this one. That this image and this delivery. You need to remember these things because it's gonna get really messy. So you should remember. So the name was delivery. Okay. So I'm gonna repeat the concept of combinators here. No, you're gonna repeat it. So I want these delivery image and delivery text and the pickup image and pickup text to be side by side. Like I want to target both of them at the same time. What should I do?
So dot
Yeah, dot
del-
delivery and then
and then dot and the comma.
yeah, good, the comma and then
Was it the delivery
dot
sign?
pickup.
Pickup.
Yeah, okay. So I want them side by side. So I'm gonna say display to be flex. Okay, everything is looking good now, but there is some problem. They are not aligned. Something's a bit down, something's a bit up. Look, we have a bucket here, but the button is flying up. So I want them to be on the center, like on this axis. How can we do that?
What about the zero in the bucket?
We're gonna sort it out later, but first we have to
Oh.
sort this out. Okay.
So do you have to justify content?
Justify content is for x-axis. We already did that.
Oh,
Yeah,
align.
good. Align
Align
item.
items in the center.
Yeah, good. So first we're gonna align the main parent. I'm gonna say align items in the center. So it's gonna make them in the center. Similarly for the left and right, I'm gonna do it again. Align items in the center. So it's gonna align items in the left and right. So now we have
Mhm.
to do this for this as well. The delivery and pickup. So we're gonna say again, align items in the center. Okay.
Mhm.
But there's no space between them. How can we put space here?
Gap,
Yeah, good,
gap.
gap. So what was this div? This one only. What was the name of this
The
one?
left.
Yeah, good. The left. The left and right are targeted together, so that's a good thing because we can put gap together. So that's a two one. Yeah, it's good now. Okay, we're gonna sort this one in a bit. But first, the first thing we want to do is we want to put space between these, the image and the text. So again, what's the property?
Delivery and pickup.
The gap between image and the delivery. What's the property? Again, gap. Yeah, good. Gap. Let's say 1 rem, I guess. 1 rem, I guess too much. So maybe that's 0.6 rem. Yeah, it's good. So now what we want to do is we want to make this delivery to be uppercase. Like I want every letter to be capital. What's the property? Have you studied about this property where you can change the text,
I don't think so.
where we can change it to
Wait, was
upper?
it text?
I think
Was
we
it
did
text
study.
transform?
Yeah, good. It was text transform. We did study that. So we're gonna say text transform, and then we're gonna say
Any.
uppercase. Okay, how many properties can it take? It can take uppercase, lowercase, and there was one more where every word, every letter of first letter of every word is going to be uppercase. What was that property? Value. It was capitalized.
Mm.
Okay, so now we have this. Okay, let's sort this button out. So what we want to do with this button is I want to get this button right, like dead in the center according to the this bucket. I want this zero to be in the center but according to the bucket. How can we do that? Think a little back about all of the things we studied before. You're gonna utilize everything we studied before. How can we get this 0 in the center relative to this bucket.
Mm,
Look, I'm giving you a hint here.
the
I want to,
size of it?
no, I want to move this,
Line.
I want to move this 0 relative to this bucket here.
Absolute.
Yeah, good. I want to move this 0 according to the bucket here. Like I want to move it relative to this bucket here. So when you want to move something according to something else, you use positions. Okay?
So the
So
position would be absolute on the number.
yeah, very good. And relative on the
Child.
no. The relative
The
position should be
Bucket.
assigned to what?
bucket.
The bucket. Very good. So we're gonna say the bucket is going to have a position of relative because this is the parent and parents always have the relative position. And for the number div, okay, we've given these names. I need you to let me show you again. We have this bucket who is a parent and we have this number who is a child. Okay, so we're going to say position of absolute. Okay, so now I want this 0 to be in the center. What was those three magic properties? Do you guys remember that those three properties in order to center something that is absolutely positioned?
Like the top.
Yeah, good. The top to be 50%. And what was the next property? Yeah, good. Left to be 50%. And then the third one? No. Transform. Then we've studied like last week. Transform. And then there was another thing.
Transform, translate.
Yeah, good. Translate. And what was the values?
It was 50.
Minus 50% and
And then minus 50
yeah,
was 70.
good. So it's dead in the center according to its pair. Okay, so now we have a fully working navbar. Okay, so let us do some. I think there's something left. Yeah, this button is left. So we want to make this button like this. I'm not going to tell you how you can do that because you've studied every property that is going to be used to do with this button like this. So what should be the first property that we should do with this button? What do you see in this button that we don't have?
The color.
Yeah, good, the color. So how can we pick this exact color? It's not red, it's like some shade of red. So how can we pick?
So
Yeah,
use the color.
yeah, color. What was this called? Colorzilla. Okay,
Colors are
yeah.
the
Click it
find the exact color.
and click on this icon. Now we have this color. So what was the name of this what was the name of this button? I guess it was login btn. Yeah, so we're gonna say login btn. Okay, and then we're gonna say background is going to be this. Now this is not going to work. Look, it didn't work. Can you tell me why? Think, why didn't it work? Like everything's good here. Okay, the code is perfect, the code here is perfect, but it's still not working. But there is color present.
The white in the back. Is it because it's white?
No, there's another problem. Look, the color is present. Wait, let me zoom it a bit. Can you see this red color here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the color is present, so why can't we see here in the button? Okay, the problem is we are targeting the login btn, and login btn is a div, it isn't the button. So if you want to have this button to have this color, you have to target the button that is inside this login btn. So currently what we are doing is we are doing the login btn div, we are not targeting the button. Okay, so that is the issue. So what we are going to do is, there's another thing. Okay, there's another concept here involved that is called specificity, where you get specific to that element. So how can you do that? We're going to say login btn, and I'm going to put space here, and I'm going to say button. So what does this mean? I
That
haven't
you're
put comma
targeting the
here.
button.
Yeah, good. I've targeted the button, but not any button. Which button?
The
Login
login
button.
Yeah, good.
BTN.
So basically what
Yeah.
this is specifying is, first, this is going to tell CSS go inside the login btn div, and then the space is going to specify that inside that login btn you're gonna find the button. You have to target only that button. For example, if I were to remove this, if I were to remove this, what do you think this is saying? What is it saying?
This button.
This
Is that
button.
the one inside the div?
Yeah,
Is
basically.
it only targeting the a div called the button?
No. If I were to put dot here, it's gonna target the div, okay, the class. If I were
Okay.
Yeah.
to, but if I won't put dot here, what would happen?
It wouldn't go through.
No, it would go through. For example, if I were to say, like, let's say h1, what does that mean?
Targeting
H1.
H1.
Yeah, it targets every h1 present inside the HTML.
Okay. So it's not
Oh.
targeting every button then.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. So what this is going to do is it's going to target every button in KFC in the website. We don't want that. We just want this button to have this color. So what we can do is we can say that this button has a parent of login btn. Okay, so you have to go inside the login btn. We're telling CSS you have to go inside the login btn and put space here. Don't put comma here, because if you were to put comma here, that would mean that target two different things. Okay, this comma would mean that this login btn is something else and this button is something else. Okay, so this comma is going to, this comma specifies that both of them are two different things. So this space is going to specify that we have this login btn, and go inside the login btn, you'll find a button, target that button. So target the button that is inside the login btn, give that button the color of this, whatever the color is. Okay, so in order to target the buttons you have to get specific.
Just to clarify, so you're saying that when we do login button space dot btn, it only targets the login,
Yeah,
and then
on.
if we don't do it, then it's every other button on the
Yeah,
website.
exactly, yes.
Okay,
Good. So
got
what
it.
would happen, so what would happen if we were to put comma here?
It will target two more than one
Yeah,
thing.
good. And what are those two things that is going to target?
The login button and
Good.
the other buttons.
Good.
Oh.
Exactly. Very good. So this, you need to know the difference between this one, the comma and the space. So if you have any question, you can ask right away, because it's gonna be like this all of the time now.
What if you put dash?
It wouldn't happen anything. It would treat it as a class. Like, it's gonna search for this class login btn button, which isn't present in our
Okay.
HTML. Okay, so it's not gonna do
Alright.
anything. Okay.
Mhm.
So do you guys now know the difference between the comma and the space?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. So save it. Now we have this color. Okay. So now we have this color. What's more we need to do in order to get it to be like this button?
Gotta make the login white.
Yeah, good. So what's the property to get it white?
The text.
Yeah, but it wasn't the text color. It was just, how do we get the color of the text to be whatever you want? What's the property? It's just color.
Color.
Yeah, good. White. What's more? What's more we need to do?
Make it bigger.
Yeah, good. How can we do that?
Do the radius.
Okay,
Or
good.
would
We
it be
have the
the font
radius.
size?
Font size is going to make the text bigger. I want to have the button bigger, so let's say 5 pixels.
Oh,
What should we do? There's a property. There was a very good property, like a very crucial property. I want to,
you mean
fatten the button. How can we do that? From the
the width?
inside. No, from the inside.
Padding.
Yeah, good. The padding. So we're gonna say padding, and maybe let's say 10 ps. Yeah, now it's good. So I'm gonna write it like this. What does this refer to?
Top and right.
Top and right. No, there's something else. This first
Mhm.
one refers to as, give 10 pixel padding from top and bottom, and 20 pixels from
Left and
left
right.
and right.
Left and right,
Yeah,
yes.
good. So now we have more padding from the left and right as compared to top and bottom, but I guess it's too much. So I'm gonna say
We have a
first.
question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If you write two more, like
yeah.
10 pixel, and
Good.
then it's top right, bottom left, right?
Yes, exactly. Good. Then exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Okay.
All
So if
right.
I write two, it's basically the first one is going to target the top and bottom, and the second one is going to target the left and right. Okay. Okay. So what's more? We're getting close. We're getting close. What's more? Is there anything else, or are we done here?
What about the boxes around the delivery and pickup?
No, no, we're gonna get to that as well. But first, let's do the button. Are we done with the button, or there's something else we need to do?
Oh,
Something
I
else?
think
The font size?
the login, the style.
Style. Yeah, we're gonna change the styles, but we're gonna do it again a bit later because we need to integrate the third party here. What else?
Um,
It's really simple, you know. If you were to see
Yeah,
R
it's the
here,
login
more
size.
zoom, more bigger.
and why is it bigger? It's not that bigger. It seems
It's
bigger
bold.
because
Bold.
it's bold. Yeah, good. So okay. So what's the property for getting it bold?
It was for font weight.
Good. Font weight. Very good. We're gonna say bolder. Okay, now it's bold, but still it doesn't look like that. Why do you think?
It's bigger. The text itself, login.
It's bigger. It only seems bigger because all of them are uppercase.
Oh yeah.
So that's why they're looking bigger. So we have to convert it into uppercase. What's the property?
For
Text
uppercase,
transform.
text
Yeah, good.
transform.
Text transform to be uppercase. So now it's looking like, you know, same. Okay, we didn't have to change the size. Still looks the same. But there's one
Yeah.
last thing that remains. Can you see this?
There's a black border around it.
The box. Sorry.
Border.
Yeah, good. The border. We have removed the border. So how can we remove the border? What's the property
Um,
for removing the border? The property is
you have
border.
to write none.
Yeah, good.
Border none.
Yeah, border now. Okay, so buttons looking good. So let's move towards these. Okay. Okay. So first thing we should do is, what's
Just
the?
before you
Yeah,
continue,
yeah,
the
yeah.
class will end in 6 minutes,
Okay. So I guess
just
we
so we
can
get the recorded session.
wait. So let me pause this. Okay. So the water's none now. Okay, so what is the color of body here?
Black.
Black.
Black. Yeah. So we want to target everything. So how do we target? The body.
Dub.
Dot body.
Yeah.
Again.
Just
What?
body.
Yeah, just body. Dot. We use dot for classes. Okay. So there's no class as body. Body is an element itself. So just body. We're gonna say background and black. So now we have this black body. But what's the problem here?
So what's your chat?
What's the problem with this body?
The delivery and pickup time when it
It's
was.
Yeah,
hiding it.
exactly. So how can we sort that out? It was already black, so when we put the body to be black, so basically now they're present here, but we can see it. So what we can do is we're gonna say colors, like every text inside this body should have a color of white. So we've discussed this concept yesterday as well, that when you target the parent, any property in the parent, the children inherit that property. Okay, so if I were to put color to be white inside the body, so every element inside that body is going to inherit that property. Okay, so now we have all of this, but there's a problem here. What's the problem? Now the zero is gone. Why is that?
Because you have the right and left
Yeah,
left
exactly.
together.
Good. The zero has a white color and the background of zero is also white, so we can target it specifically inside this number div. We're gonna say that the color of this number is going to be black. Okay, great. So this one last thing remaining for this one. Not just last thing, we have two things we have to do this as well. So we can do this. We want to do this. So delivery and pickup has this, this grayish color. So how can we pick this exact color?
From the Colorzilla?
Yeah, good. Colorzilla. And is Mr. Aziz here? He hasn't joined the class.
Ata.
Yeah, Mr. Aziz hasn't joined the class.
Oh, I think he's in the bathroom.
Okay, okay. So yeah, we pick the color. So we want to give the delivery and pickup the color of that grayish. So we're gonna go inside the delivery and pickup selector. We're gonna say background and then this. So now we have this. Okay. So first thing we want to do is we want to have this space from the inside, from the left and right. How can we do that?
Padding.
Yeah, good, very good. So we're gonna say padding and let's say 0.5 rem from top and bottom and 1 rem from left and right. And how much is 1 rem? Yeah, good, 16 px. But now we have a problem, like it's looking really big. So why is that? It's not about the padding, okay, because the padding is, is only 0.5 rem. Even if I were to put 0 here, it would still have a lot of space here. Now why is that? This is a really important concept, because every element in HTML has some default margin and paddings. Okay, every element in HTML had some default margin and paddings. Okay, so they're gonna disturb our styling. Okay, so what we can do is, whenever you start a project, at the top you can put asterisk here, and you're gonna say P0 and M0. So what this asterisk would refer to? What do you think? What do you think this asterisk refers to? Take a guess. Yeah, yeah, exactly, good, everything, very good, it's the whole thing. So what we're saying is, take every element, okay, take every element and remove whatever the default padding is, and remove whatever the default margin is. So it's going to remove all of the default margins and padding. So now it's looking good. Yeah, if I were to decrease it, it's going to be decreased accordingly. Okay, so what more we, yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 sure. So let me remove this first. Now can you see the spacing from inside of this, the delivery and pickup? Why are these spaced? Let me turn on the pesticide here. Can you see this box, the delivery box here? Why do you think it has, wait, why do you think it has so much space from outside the text? Like we have the top space and we have the bottom space, because by default every element in HTML, every element including headings, paragraphs, images, everything has some default margins and padding by, that CSS gives by default. Okay, so by default every element in HTML has some margins and some paddings. Those margins and padding are going to disturb our styling. Okay, so what we do to counter that is, whenever we start a project, we go at the top, we write asterisk. Now this asterisk is going to target every element including the headings, paragraph and everything, and we say that I want the padding to be 0 and I want the margin to be 0 as well. Basically, well, what it does is, it's not going to make anything look good. It's going to just remove those margins and paddings that are going to disturb our layout. For example, what I want to say is, I'm going to remove this padding. I haven't put wait, let me cut it out. I haven't put any padding here, yes, but still it looks, kind of like ugly. Like I haven't put anything, but still it has some spacing, which I don't know how it's coming. So why is it coming? Because by default HTML has some margins. Every element in HTML has some margins and paddings, and it basically is going to disturb our own styling. So in order to counter that, we put margin to be 0 and padding to be 0, for every element, so that we can style. Okay, so we can style it to our own, to our own liking. Okay, so I want to have this spacing from the inside to this delivery and pickup. So what we can do is we can put a padding of 0.2 and 1 rem. Then now it's looking good. Okay, so what's next we can do for its margin and padding? It's rounded. So how can we round it? What's the property to make it rounded? Yeah, good. Border radius. So delivery and pickup, we're gonna say border radius, so maybe let's say 5 pixels or maybe 6 pixels. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so this first one, delivery, has this red border here. Okay, so how can we put border to this? So this was the question of Mr. Adil, that if you want to have specific styling for one of these things, how can we do that? We are not going to do it here, because if you were to do put a border in here, it's going to do what? It's going to put the border on delivery, and it's going to put the border on the pickup as well. But here we want to have a border only on the delivery one. So what should we do? Yeah, we're going to target only the delivery. So outside of this, we're going to say delivery. And what's the property to put borders?
Border.
Yeah, good. It's border. And what are those 3 properties that it takes? First one is the width, so I'm gonna say, let's say I want a thick border of 3 pixels. Second one is the style, so I want a solid line. And third one is the color of the border. So we have this border, but it's too thick, so we're gonna say, let's say 2 pixels. Yeah, it looks good now, but let me decrease the padding. Maybe let's say 0.1. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so this one last thing that remains. I want this icon to be bigger. How can I make this icon bigger?
The KFC one?
No, not the logo, the icon. This one.
The width?
No. What are icons? I've when we were picking up the icon. I want to get it.
Bootstrap?
No, I did get it from Bootstrap. How can we make it bigger? Like the font, the icons are what? The icons are text. Yeah, good. Font size. The icons are text. So if I want to make it bigger, I have to apply the text property on here. So how do we make the text bigger? It's font size. So what we're going to say is, we're going to say target the nav bar, and inside that nav bar we're going to have this eye icon. Okay, so this icon is basically eye. Let me show you here. So this icon is what? This icon is eye. Okay, so what we're saying here is, go inside the nav bar, and after getting inside the nav bar, target the eye that is inside the nav bar. Okay, so what would happen if I were to remove this nav bar and just write eye? Yeah, exactly, good. So what it's saying is, it's going to target, first it's going to, where is the control Z? So first it's going to go inside the nav bar, and then it'll target the eye inside this nav bar. Okay, only the eye inside this nav bar. So we're going to say font size, let's say 2 rem would be good. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so one last thing, and that is, I want to change this font style. Like it looks really ugly. Our styling looks really ugly. So what we are going, sorry, we can sorry, I didn't understand. What was you saying?
Make it bold.
Make it bold. It's already bold. It won't get.
Well, to change the font style, you have to use the property font family.
Yeah, exactly, font family. So when we were using Notepad, we used some pre-built stylings, pre-built font families. So now since we are using VS Code, we can use like literally thousands of fonts, free fonts. So how can you use that?
Previously, you made us use like sans serif.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that was basically pre-built, like it's already present in the CSS. But now we're going to use external fonts. So how can you access those fonts? You're going to say Google Fonts. Okay, search for Google Fonts, and then this first thing, click on this, and here you can literally find like thousands of free icons you can use. Okay, so whatever you want, whatever icons you think is it will look good, you can choose that font. So let it load. Why isn't it loading? Let me refresh it. I guess the site is down.
So if we were to also manually write the font, that would change it too.
No, it will only change, it's only gonna apply the fonts that are already installed in your computer, in your CSS or HTML. It's not gonna, it's not gonna apply any font that is, externally present. Okay. So can you please search for this, the Google Fonts? Is it working for you guys?
Yeah, it's working for me.
So okay, it's working for me now. Okay. Okay, so you can find here wait, like thousands of fonts. You can see the size of the scroll bar indicating that how much there's to scroll. Okay, so all of these fonts are free to use. Okay, so let me choose one font and I'll show you how you can implement it. So let's say this one looks good. Okay, it's Open Sans, but we already have this Sans, I guess. Let's say this is a really good font called Poppins, but this is Hindi. I don't want Hindi. Wait, let's say there's also Roboto. Yeah, this one. So first you have to choose whatever font you want, whatever font you like. Click okay, choose the font and then click on this get font. Okay, after clicking on this get font, click on this bag icon. Okay, and then click on this get embed code. You'll find two things here. You can use the link or you can use the import. Okay, so I guess let me show you first with link, and after that we can use the import. So click on this link, copy all of it, and where do we paste the link tag? We've already pasted like 2 or 3 link tags. So where do we paste the link tag? Yeah, good, very good, the head. So we're gonna go inside the head, we're gonna paste it. So this one thing, and the second thing, it tells you that you have to put all of these properties inside your wherever you want the font to be. So I'm gonna copy only these first two. Okay, just copy the first two, and I want my all of my website to use the same font. So where should I put these properties? I want all of the website to use the same font. So who is the parent of everything? The body. Good. So we're going to enter the body and then simply paste it. So if you were to go back inside your website, now your website is using that special font. Okay, should I repeat all
That's
the?
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. You can use any font you want. Like, wait, let me choose something different because I guess it's so. Wait, let me have. Okay, this one. Okay, let me choose this one. You're gonna go again. How would you use that? Get font,
Get font.
and then this one, back icon, and then get embed code. Copy it, first one, and wait the second one. Copy it and then go inside the head, replace the previous one, and now do not choose this Roboto, okay, because now we're using display, right? So copy these first two, go inside the styles and replace these two. So now we have this icon, or not these icon, these font. Okay, you can choose whatever font you want, but I guess I'm gonna stick to that previous one, Roboto, because that look professional, but you can use whatever you want. Okay, so one last thing, after that we can close our session. So we have to create this. We cannot create this at the moment because this is pure JavaScript. Okay, so when we move towards the JavaScript, we can create all of these fancy stuff, but at the moment we can only use we can only put the image here. So we're gonna So since we're done with the navbar, okay, navbar is ready. Is there anything else that we have to do, or is it's done? What do you think?
I think the navbar is done.
Yeah, it's good, it's looking good. Okay, so now we wanted to do this. Okay, so there are the two ways to embed images in a website. So we have discussed about how you can use images inside HTML. Okay, how can you use it inside HTML images?
By using the image tag.
Exactly, good, by using the image tag. So there's another way you can use images. Okay, you can embed images in your website using CSS. Okay, it's really helpful when it comes to embedding large images. Okay, so like this one. So I'm gonna click right click and then copy image address. Here I'm just going to create a div and I'm gonna name it, let's say, front section. Okay, I'm talking about this one. It's called, let me give a professional name, hero section. Okay, so this main section of a website is called the hero section, the front page you're seeing. Okay, the hero section. So I'm just going to create a div here. I'm not going to do anything else. So inside the style, I'll target that hero section. How should I target that hero section?
Dot hero.
Very good, dot hero and section. Yeah, dot hero section. And now this is a new property. Okay, so if you want to embed images using CSS, the property is background and dash image. Okay, if you want to put images using CSS, so the property is background image and then the value is URL. Okay, this URL is going to take the link from you, like what image do you want to embed. So I'm gonna say inside the quotation marks, I've already copied the link, so I'm gonna paste it, and we would have an image here but we don't have it. Why do you think we don't have the image? Like everything's good here, this is the same property. So why do you think we don't have the image? Take a guess. Like it doesn't have to be right. Just guess. Why don't we have the image?
Um,
What do you think? The problem is the hero section, the div here is the block element, and by default block elements have the width of 100% but the height of 0%. So this image doesn't have the height, this div doesn't have the height. So if it doesn't have the height, can you see the image? Like it's collapsed, you cannot see the image. So how can you see the images? You can give it a height. Okay, give this image a height, give this div a height, and there's a new unit I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm going to say 70 VH. VH refers to viewport height. So if you are seeing this inside, let's say on a computer, it's going to take 70% of that computer. Okay, so if you were to see the same website on a mobile
meaning
phone,
the screen.
yeah, exactly, the screen. Good.
Okay.
So if you were to see that same website on a mobile screen, it's going to take up 70% of that viewport height. So VH stands for viewport height. Okay, so whatever you are viewing this website on is going to take 70% of that. So now we have this image. Okay, you can let me increase the size. Let's say 80. Yeah, now it's looking good. Any
So
problem?
when we're putting the background, we're doing background image, and then we have to put URL. We
Yeah,
have to put that.
yeah, you have to put that. This URL is must. Okay, so inside that URL you have then parentheses, and then inside that parentheses you put your link.
And if
Okay,
it doesn't show up, that means it collapsed.
yeah, basically it doesn't have the height. So if it doesn't have the
So we
height,
fix the height.
yeah,
Okay.
so you can increase the
And
height.
we make it viewport.
You can use viewport, and you can use percentage, but most of the time percentages are not going to work. So viewport is good.
So what about when you wrote 70 VH? So it means that it took 70% of the screen.
Yeah, of the screen. Yeah, the screen you are viewing this website on. If you were to see it on mobile phone, it's going to take up the 70% of that mobile phone screen. If you were to see it on
Okay.
let's say a big LED, it's going to take up 70% of that LED.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it.
Okay, okay. So I guess that would be it for today. So any questions?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, so for the homework, you're going to create this one, but for the homework you have to create it up until this point, and you cannot use AI. Okay, you have to use it yourself. You have to do it yourself. So up until this point, like the explore menu section, you have to try creating this. Okay, it's not mandatory, but try creating this.
Just the bottom part?
And up until this point, wait, let me draw this line here, this part. Okay, from top to this part, that's it. Okay,
Oh,
we already have
okay.
created this one, the up until this point. You just have to create until this point. Okay,
Meaning the everyday value and stuff.
everything, yes. It's not much, you just have to create this one and just copy paste it four more
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
do
It,
do
it's
the
what you did today.
yeah, exactly. So it's basically, it's, if you were to get the flex properly now, this all of this is basically built on flex. In fact, each and everything in this website, in any website, is built on flex. So make sure your
Yeah.
flex is strong. Okay, like the display flex is strong. So
Okay.
any questions?
No.
Okay, so if you don't have any questions, I think we can end the class now, and we'll inshallah have a meeting tomorrow.
Okay, bye
Okay,
bye.
thank you. Allah
Okay, sir.
Hafiz,
Allah
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz, bye.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.